Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn isn't a big step forward for online role-playing games in general, but it sure is a big step forward for Final Fantasy XIV. It's odd that proper waypoints, a proper economy, and a proper interface are reasons to celebrate a game, but when it comes to the basics, the redesigned Final Fantasy XIV gets more right than wrong. If you enjoy exploring a big, beautiful, persistent fantasy world, Eorzea should be on the short list of destinations to visit. Don't assume that everything has changed, however. The game's original release boasted a number of sound ideas, they just weren't executed well. Many of those ideas still form A Realm Reborn's foundation. You can still be any class you want at any time just by equipping the primary weapon or tool for that class. You can still take on short-timed tasks called Leave Quests. Some Leave Quests are standard, but give you a chance to enjoy watching your flashy magic spells and combat moves in action. Others, like the ones that require you to use the Beckon emote to lead one character from one area to another, are slogs. Overall, A Realm Reborn is a familiar kind of game in which you choose a race, select an initial class, and head out into the world to search for treasure, level up, and face big monsters with your friends in tow. Oddly, your starting area is associated with your class and not your race, so your first couple of hours are spent doing fetch quests and killing low-level monsters alongside a bunch of other people wearing the same armor and performing the same attacks. The upside to having class-specific starting areas is that when you switch to another class, there are plenty of low-level quests to get you started, but there is an initial hump of monotony to overcome. Once you really get out into the vast open world, however, you'll appreciate how much there is to do in Eorzea and how beautiful your surroundings are. The cookie-cutter corridors outside of Gridania have been replaced with lush forest areas populated by monsters of all sorts. Characters sport highly detailed armor and intricately embroidered robes. Heavily populated areas can lead to some visual slowdown, but even when you lower a few visual sliders, A Realm Reborn looks terrific. By and large, questing is of the standard sort. You follow your waypoints and peruse your map to find people of interest, and they give you things to do, whether that be monsters to slay, items to deliver, or objects to investigate. Story quests send you all over Eorzea, sometimes so much that you spend more time than you'd expect traveling, using mounts, rented chocobo porters, or just teleporting to previously visited locales. Such stretches of map hopping can get tedious, but there's plenty of drama and villainous monologues. But the quest writing and ambient dialogue in general are filled with clever humor and silly puns, enough that you'll want to pay attention when characters are talking to you. Combat, too, is standard, as are class roles. You select a target and then push hotkeys to perform actions. Some monsters will signal their most powerful attacks and give you a chance to move out of the way, but there's no real-time dodging, which diminishes the sense that you've escaped grave danger. The fighting is at its best when you join others in A Realm Reborn's excellent dungeons. Good level design and monster placement give the action momentum, while some enemies require you to utilize specific strategies or environmental objects to triumph. The dungeons unlock at a good clip, giving you a chance to group up often with others, even if you tend to go solo. Of course, if you tire of one class role, there's no reason you can't choose another. Just by equipping a weapon, you switch to the class associated with that weapon. And level 2 class is high enough, and you can choose a profession that opens up further battle options for you. It's nice to have this flexibility, though leveling up more classes can feel like a grind, since you'll be doing a lot of Leave Quests and public quests called Fates to level up. And if you want to contribute to the economy, you can take on any gathering or crafting profession you wish. The crafting system is pleasantly intricate, but chopping trees and hammering armor pieces isn't that fun or interesting on its own. There are aspects of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, that still require a little patience. The game's rough launch is mostly over, but you still might have to contend with login errors. But this is, by and large, a very good massively multiplayer game, filled with lots of stuff to do, gorgeous vistas to behold, and lots of adorable narrative touches. Even better, it makes it easy to come together with good people and fight cruel monsters.